Alrighty guys, we're back. So, this is that tea I just talked about, and this comes especially in the first flush setup, and you can see this diameter is smaller, so it tapers to a small round circle here. And the reason for that is, if I can show you on this little piece of paper, so we're going to have the tea here. There's the tea. You guys see that? I'll zoom in a bit and adjust the camera. We're going old school with some paper. Okay, so incoming. Water. So the incoming water from that outside on my rain catchment setup comes into the tea, and obviously it's going to fall down this way first because it's a tea, right? It can't just cross this little gap here without help. So what I need to do once the tea's installed, I'm going to need a piece, just a straight piece. I'm not going to, well, I guess I will. I'll connect it. I'll put a piece in like this, just one of those long straight lengths of pipe, ABS. The water is going to come down here, and at the bottom of this first flush system, you put this piece on. Now this is, let me zoom back out for a second. Now this comes with the first flush system, it's all part of the kit. Inside is a ball that floats. Okay, so when this is connected to the bottom of this guy, obviously there's going to be a, whoops, where's the camera? Obviously there's going to be a stick of pipe in between these two to connect them. The longer the better for the first flush system, however I don't have that luxury with my setup. When the water comes down this section, guys, like this, it's going to hit the bottom of this thing and start filling the tube up with water. And as the water fills up, this little ball here will float. And eventually, once it's fully saturated in the tube and full, the ball will float up to the top, and as you can see, it blocks off the majority of the water, thus making a bridge down here where the water can then come back up, and then that water that's trapped pushes on that little ball here, and then the water incoming can continue past that section and into my filter setup that I got to build. That'll be in another video. Now, now on the bottom of this thing, let me draw in the this will be the bottom of my cap here. Put that there. So here's this thing, and then it has a little tiny drain right here. So this gets a little drain, and actually inside, this tube goes inside of here as well. And this is like a long filter system, so any of the gunk gets filtered out and doesn't block the lines up. But anyway, first things first. So this comes off, this piece, and this is what the exit water hooks onto, right? So I'll put a piece of tubing and have to drill a hole out to the outside coming up. And then this is your maintenance cap, so you can unscrew that. It's got a waterproof gasket in the bottom, and then this is the piece that gets glued to the bottom of that straight piece here, and then this just screws onto that, and the ball actually is inside of this thing. Now, one thing I got to do is I got to put the filter setup on the pipe like so, and then put this guy back on like so. That way we're nice and tight. I'll have to find a piece of clear tubing to run to the outside for this guy. But that's the bottom of the setup. Then this guy goes on. Then the ball kind of stays afloat just on top of this filter setup here until the water builds up around it, and then it floats it up to the surface to block this hole here. So that's the first flush system. Now what's the purpose of this thing, guys? That's what everybody's probably asking me, like what do you mean? What is this all about? Well, the first flush system here, guys, when it first begins to rain, normally in your area, the first, I'm gonna say 5 to 10 minutes, you're gonna get all the dust, dirt, bird crap, bugs incoming into your rain harvesting setup. And because the rain can't pass this way right off the bat and into my tanks, it has to go down this filter setup, this cycling setup, where the majority of that crap gets trapped in this tube first and is slowly drained off during the raining setup, during the rain session. I guess it's a rain event. And then a lot of this crap gets taken care of in this first phase. That's why they call it the first flush. So a lot of this crap gets eliminated here, thus saving any filtering of the water you do past this point. So I have to build a little filter setup before this stuff goes into my IBC totes. So I'll have my big IBC totes here, 2 of them. I can almost run directly, actually I can run directly into the top tank, but that would mean I don't have any filtering other than the first flush system, so I don't want to do that. So I have to build just a length of pipe and a 90, and then I brought some of these white buckets over that are food grade that need cleaning actually, and I got to drill holes in these things and put my little filters in here, gravity filters. And from there I'm going to take another bucket of similar size and probably do some more filters, because I have quite a few actually. They are already been used. They're from my household drinking use only, city water. So I'm giving them a second life by filtering out possibly any crap or heavy particles that get past the first flush system. This will just drip into the other tanks, these 2 tanks. So the water is going to go this way now, being filtered. And then I have to figure out a way to connect all these tubing together into one line and run that into the bottom tank and the top of the bottom tank. And I already have a pump down here hooked up that already feeds the bottom tank to the top tank. And why I want the top tank, guys? One, well, it's a major one. The top tank is my gravity fed water setup for the entire tiny house. It feeds everything, okay? The bottom tank can't work on gravity because it's below this tank, right? Water doesn't flow uphill unless, you know, there's a hell of a lot of it. And so I want to get all this water transferred to the top of this tank. But what this allows me to do too is, let's say we're getting a really nasty rainstorm and this tank is getting really full. Let's do wavy lines as for water. Water's getting really full down here. I can turn the pump on and I can slowly raise this level up in the top tank to keep up with it. Now, you're going to say, well, what happens if the rain doesn't quit? Well, since it's a gravity-fed filter or gravity-fed setup, this feeds all the sinks and stuff in the tiny house. If I have an issue where we're getting unlimited amount of water, I crack open a valve in one of my sinks over here, and it will just drain away. It's wasted, but that's the way it goes. I can't have both tanks overflowing. Okay, so that's the entire setup, guys. Hopefully that makes sense. You'll see me filming about it today.